It's been a busy week at the Arkansas Capitol. Coming up, we're tracking the latest on a bill that would end affirmative action programs in the state.
And it's going to be another cloudy and gloomy day today with some rain chances back into the forecast. We'll talk about that plus your weekend forecast coming up.
Had I just listened to the paramedics, my kids would have come home and I would not have been here today.
It is the #1 killer of women in the U.S. What you need to know about cardiovascular disease on this National Wear Red Day.
A live look outside in Fayetteville here at 6:30. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us on this Friday. And I'm telling you, out there, it's a bit windy today, but we're hoping we can slide into the weekend and it kind of changes for the better.
Yeah, I think we see a little bit of sunshine on Saturday, but overall another gloomy day for today with more rain chances back into the forecast. We take a look at what it feels like out there right now, mid to upper 40s, low 50s. Again, the cloud coverage that we have in the afternoon, we don't love it, right? Wish we could see some sunshine and warmer temperatures, but at least in the morning hours, what it does is keeps us warm overnight. So we get to start off our mornings at least a little bit more comfortable, mid to upper 40s and low 50s as you head out the door this morning. Like Joe mentioned, though, it is breezy, though. Wind gusts right around 20 to 25 miles per hour. Those sustained winds, though, right around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Here's the kicker, though. It's coming from the east, southeast, so it's not going to affect our temperatures all too much for today. We only climb up a few degrees by the time we get to this afternoon. Morning temperatures starting off into those mid 40s this morning. Lots of cloud coverage, lack of any wind influencing those temperatures this afternoon. That's why we're only climbing about 5 to 10 degrees by the time we get to the afternoon hours across the river valley. Starting off into those mid 40s this morning, lots of cloud coverage. And again, another day where we'll open up the window for a few of those rain chances. Daytime highs today only into the upper 40s. We'll talk about that weekend forecast plus what you need to know for next week coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks for that. Well, developing this morning, crews in Alaska searching for a plane that went missing Thursday afternoon late. 10 people there on board the Bering Air Caravan flight. A Coast Guard search and rescue aircraft was dispatched to the plane's last known location, which was 12 miles offshore.
Heavy snow, fog, and low visibility have made search efforts challenging, with both ground crews and military aircraft participating. Authorities are still working to locate the missing plane, but no new updates have been released yet. We'll bring you more details as the story develops.
And federal civilian workers now have until Monday night to decide if they want to step down under President Trump's deferred resignation offer.
A federal judge in Boston temporarily halted the program as he also considers a legal challenge from unions. The White House press secretary says tens of thousands of federal employees have already accepted the offer of full pay and benefits through September 30th. But union leaders and Democrats in Congress are warning them not to take the buyout.
Overnight, the Trump administration appealed a Washington state federal judge's ruling that temporarily blocked his executive order to end birthright citizenship.
We do not have a king. We have a president who must abide by the laws.
The filing came hours after another federal judge in Maryland also ruled against the president's order.
Well, the bill that would end affirmative action programs in Arkansas has passed a major hurdle.
In a 65 to 27 vote, Senate Bill 3 is one step closer to removing racial and gender preferences from government hiring. The proposal aims to line up state law with recent changes at the federal level. The debate on the House floor drew speeches from those who say minorities still face an uneven playing field. But also, at least one minority member said Arkansas and the country needs to move beyond decades-old programs.
Any person looking at me right now can tell me what color I am. And a lot of times people are judged and based on the color of their skin.
And I'll tell you what led me up to this is my grandfather, Domingo Torres, a second-generation little Mexican man that told me once, he said, son, he said, don't ever let anyone or anything make you a victim.
The bill will now have to be reapproved by the Senate after an amendment that was added this week.
Well, the bill to take cell phones out of Arkansas public schools has cleared yet another hurdle. The bell-to-bell no-cell bill made it through the Senate and now needs to make it through the House. The bill would require public schools to have a policy that would prohibit students from using personal electronic devices while on school property and during school hours. Now, it does have some exceptions for emergencies, extracurricular activities, and students with health problems.
The triple murder trial of Hunter Chenoweth was briefly halted after the defense requested a mistrial. On the first day of the trial, prosecutors were showing jurors evidence when they say a technical glitch displayed a graphic photo of a body and a gun before it was properly introduced. The defense argued it could unfairly influence the jury and asked for a mistrial, but the judge denied that request. Chenoweth is accused of shooting and killing his mom, Tammy Lynn Chenoweth, his stepfather, James McGee, and his sister Cheyenne at a home in the Wesley community of Madison County. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, and the trial continues to next week.
A former Crawford County deputy has been granted another extension to appeal his sentencing after he pleaded guilty to depriving a suspect of their civil rights. A federal court judge issued what he says will be the final extension for Levi White and his attorneys to submit their appeal. They now have until March 6th. White received a 63-month sentence for the crime. He pleaded guilty to one count of deprivation of rights under color of law in connection with the violent arrest of Randall Worcester. This was at a gas station in Mulberry back in 2022. Now, Zachary King was another former deputy seen in the videos of the incident. He was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. No charges were filed against a third officer with the Mulberry Police Department.
New this morning, some water customers in Prairie Grove are under a boil order. The city's director of public works says crews were working to fix a water line break on Thursday. This affects customers along Butler Road from east of South Pittman Street to near Border Street. The directors say crews will stay on site until full pressure is restored.
All right, let's get a traffic update for you this morning. Good news is no accidents, no slowdowns as you head out the door this morning. Here's a live look out across I-540 over the Arkansas River. Traffic moving just fine there. Again, this morning, another cloudy and rainy day for today. By the time we get to the weekend, we get a little bit of sunshine, but lots of changes coming into early next week. We'll talk about it coming up.
Well, it is National Wear Red Day, a time to raise awareness about the leading cause of death for women in the U.S. Stephanie Stahl has one woman's story of survival.
Robin Eaton wants women to trust their gut when it comes to their heart.
I started having intense pain in my chest. My arms were tingly and my back hurt.
In November 2023, the 46-year-old called 911. Responding paramedics said her vitals and EKG were normal and she wasn't having a heart attack, so she didn't go to the hospital. Later, the pain got more intense and she headed to the emergency room.
It was very, very scary because all of a sudden the room is just filled with doctors and nurses.
While a typical heart attack is caused by heavy plaque buildup in the arteries, Robin experienced a less common type that disproportionately affects women, spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAD.
It's actually bleeding inside the artery wall, sort of like a bruise inside the artery. And that bruise can get so big that it blocks blood flow. When the heart is not getting enough blood flow, there can be damage.
Dr. Harmony Reynolds at NYU Langone Health wants other women to follow Robin's example.
When there's chest discomfort or another symptom that you think might be heart attack, and it's going on for 10 or 15 minutes or more, we need to call 911 and get to a hospital.
I just run a 5K the week before. I was the healthiest I've been in years.
Tests showed Robin has a condition that increases her risk for SCAD, and she was treated with medication and cardiac rehab.
Had I just listened to the paramedics, my kids would have come home and I would not have been here today.
You know your body best.
She's sharing her story as part of the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement and says she's maintaining a healthy lifestyle to continue healing. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News.
All right, it is 6:39 here on this Friday, and we're taking a live look out at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans this morning, where the Chiefs and Eagles will go head-to-head this Sunday. Now, football fans are flocking there to the Big Easy for Super Bowl 59. For most visitors, New Orleans means Mardi Gras on Bourbon Street. This week, the whole city is putting its best foot forward for Super Bowl fans.
One man from Hawaii, he's been following the Kansas City Chiefs around the country since they won the AFC title, and now he's headed to the big game.
Any sports fan that loves traveling, I mean, this is a city that, yeah, you don't have to tell me twice.
Fans also can take in the NFL experience like an interactive football museum where they can see the Lombardi Trophy, hobnob with some NFL greats, and see artifacts from their favorite teams.